Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Good morning, good evening, or a warm welcome to wherever you are on this fine Saturday evening, and welcome to the coverage of round 3 of the ARA Formula 4 Championship, sponsored by Virtual Racing School, live exclusively on the Apex Racing TV YouTube channel. Today we're at Watkins Glen. We've swapped the sunny, hilly countryside of Britain where we were 2 weeks ago at Donington for the a little bit more American-style Watkins Glen Rugby Cup circuit today, and we're going to have some excellent racing in the Formula 4s. My name is Sebastian Boscher-Williams. Joining alongside me in the commentary box is Sam Fitzpatrick, and on production it's Lewis Ward. And what an absolutely brilliant race we've got in store for you today. Practice just ticking down, and we're going to get in to our 10-minute qualifying session. We're in for an absolutely stellar race. I keep on saying it because I just absolutely believe it. It's going to be so good. We've got, of course, we've got the 2-heat format. It was Will Redford in pole position, really, or in charge of the practice session, setting the fastest lap on the grid. And we have a look at the championship standings, and there is no surprise that Will Redford currently leads that, 260 points to his name. Of course, Will has won both of our A finals in both round 1 and 2. We've got Marteau in second place, only about 32 points off the lead, with Avardson on the exact same points in third. And then we've got Luedo in fourth, Lennart Schnabel fifth, Johan Stolt in sixth, Tobias Olsen seventh. As we have a look at our Pro-Am standings, and currently Tobias Seck in the lead, 183 points, and Daniel Porter in second, a few 19 or so points off with 164 points to his name. Alex Lewis as well in third. We've got Molotova down in sixth place. She was rapid in practice, at the fastest lap time of anybody in the Pro-Am category, so she'll be hoping today to sort of bump herself up and maybe sort of see if she can try and sort of take the lead of the Pro-Am Championship standings. As all of the cars come on to the field, and we have a look at our AM standings. Our current leader is Philip Russell, who had the amazing stat of winning all 3 races he competed in at Donington. He finished first in class in race 1, and then he finished in the B final in first, and then converted that into a really strong A final as well. So no surprise he's at the top of the timing stands, and Lobert even is second, with Dorian Arroyo in third, just edging out that sort of inter-family battle with Jose Arroyo, having to settle for second place at that battle with Campali. Charlie in 5th place, and just see how close the order is, sort of from 5th downwards, everything to play for in the AM standings. That's why this format works so well. We have so many different standings, and there's always something to play for. Talking of something to play for, everybody having a little bit of a battle out on track at the moment. That's Zemstra getting in the way of it. Can't quite see the number on that car. That's a 302 car, so a little bit of racing going on in qualifying. As I was saying earlier, we have the cut layout today, so we don't have the boot, we don't have sort of any of the sort of tricky corners, we just have the really good overtaking spots, and these drivers, we saw it in rounds 1 and 2, are really good at making those overtakes and creating opportunities. I suspect it's going to be exactly the same today. Redford goes to the top of the timing stands. He is quickest, and I'm now joined by my lovely co-commentator Sam Fitzpatrick. We've been having a few issues, but it's lovely to have you in the booth with me.
Yes, thank you. Sorry about those issues, and thanks for steering the ship whilst I was gone, Sebastian. But yeah, what a great race it's going to be tonight. This is such a good race circuit. You may have already mentioned it before, but like so much slipstreaming around this place. You don't necessarily have to be the fastest driver. I think this is going to be a race of racecraft, and so we are going to have, I think, groups of drivers at the front, and we could see maybe a surprise winner over the course of the 4 races.
I think that's a really good point, and yeah, let's just sort of hope that we do have some different race winners, because Redford currently just dominating the top of the timing stands. 377 car of Philip Russell, not necessarily showing the pace that we would have expected him to after his form at Donington. Down in 9th place overall, but 6th in class. He'll be hoping to improve on this lap as we head through the penultimate corner. See how tricky these cars are to drive, and you've got to make sure that you don't hit that outside wall. It's going to be one way to end your race. Philip Russell crosses the line, doesn't improve on his lap time. He really needs to get up the field if he wants to sort of extend his points lead. Once again, Will Redford just out in the lead. 5 tenths separating him, and 2nd place Tobias Sek. Sarah Molotova, I was saying, down in 6th place in the championship standings. In 3rd at the moment, Nilsson pops his car up into 5th place overall. But at the moment, Sam, we don't really have many of the pro drivers out there setting lap times. Do you think of a reason why that is, or yeah, what's going on there? Because it seems a little bit strange.
We've got a few drivers serving pit lane starts tonight, but I don't think it's many of them guys. We've got Nilsson, Bunn, Suarez, and Tewksbury who need to serve pit lane starts. And I think that only involves, well, none of the drivers who haven't set lap times yet. So yeah, they've got some working to do, but a few of them are out on circuit right now trying to post an improvement. I'm seeing Schnabel out on an outlap, Stoltz as well, also trying to improve, as still Redford up at the top, but as Charpentier now improves, he goes to 7th place, but it's a fruit salad right now out there, because we've got a lot of reds and green up at the top, but the AMs generally form into the back. We have got a few promotions actually, or promotions, I don't want to call it a promotion because then, playing down element would be a relegation, but really it's just a rough guess of how quick each of the drivers are. A few of the drivers have been promoted to the Pro AMs from the AM class, Bunn, Spence and Molotova. And so watch out for them. I think even though their AMs start off the season, I think they might well win the Pro-Am Championship when the 9 rounds are complete.
Just saw Charpentier there getting all out of shape on the exit of the inner loop, or the bus stop, or the chicane, or whatever you want to call it, but I think wasn't really calling it any words that we can broadcast. Really struggling with his Formula 4 machinery. This is Molotova, 2nd in Pro-Am category, coming out to see if she can improve on her lap time, try and unseat Tobias Sek from the lead of the Pro-Am. As Canavasas goes ahead of Sek. Canavasas into 3rd place overall, 4 tenths off Will Redford, and I don't really think Will Redford has improved since his first lap. He sort of went out there, did the lap time, and then ever since then he's sort of been lapping away, but really having to push too much. Nobody's really able to challenge him at this stage in qualifying. Kawali Charney to the top of the AM standings. 12th place overall, doing a great job, really showing the pace that I know Charney has had, and he's had sort of flashes of pace, but really good to see that sort of coming to fruition as there's a Formula 4 car just off to the side of the road. We tend to see cars parking up in qualifying. It's a new strategy that we've yet to hear. Tobias Second proves on his lap time. The gap between second Muller Tova is now 0.4 of a second. Nielsen just outside of a second of our pole sitter Redford so far. What I've just noticed, Sam, is we've got Nielsen out there, and he's got to serve a pit lane start, so he's got a penalty. But why do you think he's coming out? Is it just extra practice, trying to get his eye in, or do you think he's forgotten?
Well, you're not supposed to do that, so you may get some penalty for this. But I think it's his first season, to be fair, so maybe Nielsen not 100% with the rules. But I'm trying to find the positives there. At least we know roughly what his pace is going to be, and he should be arrival for the Pro-Am victory tonight, I think, when everything is complete. As he gets a little bit held up, actually, the qualifying lap obviously not going to matter because he's going to be starting from the pits. But yeah, could be a little bit of an advantage for whoever qualifies directly behind him. They'll have a nice vacant slot right in front of him on the grid. As Charney improves once again, he's having a terrific qualifying. I don't think I've ever seen Charney get pole position in class. It's super fun. He's beating very good drivers like K-Batch was great at Donington. Russell as well is a very established driver, certainly favourite for the amateur championship. And he's beating all of them, is Charney. So great to see him be so strong out there. And he's only 1.2 seconds off the overall pole. But I mean, Redford just in a league of his own. No one can get close to him. 0.4 of a second clear. And, you know, I was saying earlier on how the slipstream is going to be strong, but if you're 0.4 of a second clear, even at Daytona you're going to be pulling away. So this is looking very good for the British driver right now.
I certainly concur with that. Redford just not needing to do anything. He's in command at the moment. Will he make it? 3 from 3. We'll have to find out. We've got about 3 races to go before we get the answer to that question. You know, just sort of going back to Charney's pace, it sort of reminds me of if anybody was sort of around for the ARA F3 League last season. He had that stellar drive at Alton Park, managed to get in to the A final, had super pace, and see that once again. So Charney's super sort of in touch with the car. Redford not really in touch with the ground. He was sort of flying, I think, more through the bus stop than he was actually in contact with the road. And that's what we're going to see, Sam, isn't it? You know, drivers really pushing the limits of the curbs through the bus stop. It's the fastest way, but it's also quite a scary way.
Yes, I think it's pretty much the only choice though. I mean, when it comes to that one, and I think if you can hit it right, you kind of get used to it. I mean, we've seen it with like the prototypes over the years. With the old layout, as we see a car on the wall, with the old layout, it was sort of the same, not quite to the same extent. But you just, you know, find a groove, you find a turn in, and eventually it becomes, I think, fairly easy. But if you get it wrong by a millimetre, then you can send your car absolutely flying. So it will be good. And of course, going side by side through there. I mean, what's going to happen there? I mean, if you're on the inside, you go launch yourself over the curve, and you might be approaching a driver as you're flying in the air. So really watch out for that one. That's going to be an action-packed corner as qualifying is complete, and we have Heat 1 coming up.
Certainly do. Will Redford takes the starting grid. He is first in race number 1. So Redford on pole with Canovas in second, Molotova third, Charpentier fourth, Kevin Zemstra in 5th place, Garrett Spence 6th, Andy Lee 7th, Philip Russell 8th, Jamie Tukey 9th, Lars Lobert in 10th place, Jackie Wan in 11th, and Chase Robertson rounding out, sorry, not rounding out, in fact, we have Lennart Schnabel in 13th place, and we'll leave that there. Sam Fitzpatrick in the commentary box with me. So it's 13 drivers on the grid, and Redford trying to warm up his tyres. I just see a little bit of steering wheel movement from the British driver, but you know, are we sort of expecting sort of a calm opening, or do we think it's going to, all hell's going to break loose as soon as these drivers are let off from the grid, Sam?
I'll be positive. I think it's going to be a strong start. So I think everyone's going to, you know, watch their braking down in turn 1. We're going to see some checking up, most likely, albeit it's a fairly small field for each of these heat races. Obviously, it'll be much larger for the A final later on. But at least for now, it should be all right. And of course, these drivers have to finish in the top 8 in order to get through to the A final. That's what a lot of those drivers, particularly the AMs, will be looking at. So hopefully they think of preservation and make sure that they at least give themselves a chance of achieving that.
Yeah, all to think and all to play for in the opening race here at Watkins Glen. Of course, if you've just joining us, it's the Cup layout, so we haven't got the full layout, so expect a lot more drafting and a lot more action. About 10 seconds before the lights go out. All eyes are on that red Delta Sport car, the 142. He is your pole sitter. Alongside him is Bruno Canavas. They're our main racers as the lights build, and we get ready to go racing here at round 3 of the ARA Formula 4 Championship, and we are underway. Great start from our top 2. If anything, Canavas just got a slightly better start. He's going to pull into the slipstream as we head down towards turn 1. Looks on as even. Molotova making a move to the inside, and it looks like everybody's got through very cleanly. You were very right, a little bit of contact there. That was the car in the background, just sort of rubbing in sort of the GT3-esque racing rather than Formula 4 as now we get into the slipstream as we head for the first time towards the bus stop. The 377 car, that's Philip Russell on Andy Lee trying to get past. This is a battle for 7th place. You don't want to be making any mistakes as you've got to finish in the top 8 to advance. Will Redford though leads into the bus stop. Canavas in 2nd place. Molotova getting a great one on Zemstra to the inside. As we head through the carousel for the first time, nothing can be done though. Is Charpentier dropping down the order? What's happened to him? I think he might have just been overtaken by a few cars and might have sort of misread my timing screen. Charpentier there in 9th place. Is to the inside looks the 308 car. That's Lars Lober trying to get past Charpentier into the penultimate corner. He does it. And actually following him through is Lennart Schnabel. So Schnabel having a good recovery drive. He's trying to go all the way around the outside of the final corner. You've got to be pretty brave to do that. And you know what? It's worked for Lennart Schnabel as we cross the line side by side. Schnabel and Lober. Schnabel's going to have the outside line. Lober's just going to have to give this one up. And a great start, great racing on the opening lap, Sam, and no incidents.
Yeah, remarkable, and you've just cursed it, so congratulations. It's going to be absolute chaos for the next 3 races. Maybe even this one as well. Molotova looking very racy. Anyone who's seen Molotova so far this season knows that she is extremely quick racing for Leadpool Racing, and now we're going to find out what racing is like through the bus stop. Is it going to work? Well, it can work when one of the drivers backs out of it. That was good driving, and in fact really slow for Canavas just before. Has Canavas got a problem or a slowdown? He's dropping back, he's down to 4th position. This seems to be a huge weight for him. I don't know how he could have got a slowdown. Maybe it's the case that he cut that curb too much and you get a slowdown, but that was really costly for Bruno and left him with a lot of work to do, because Molotova all of a sudden is up into the top 2.
Absolutely dream stuff for Molotova. Yeah, not sure what's happened. Is Tukey and Schnabel side by side. I think I see in the background Schnabel making his way up the grid, already up 5 places from his starting position. Molotova coming under pressure from Zemstra as we head towards turn 1. Zemstra can't get past, but will be in the slipstream as we accelerate out of the first turn, down the back straight through turns 2 and 3, or kind of inconveniences I like to call them. They're not really corners, you don't have to think about them too much, but they're side by side. Zemstra almost pushing Molotova out of the way. They're still almost wheel banging as we head towards the long straight now. Zemstra's got the inside line. It's almost the exact opposite of 1 lap ago. Molotova is going to have to concede this position. Zemstra up into 2nd place. Molotova down to 3rd. And all while Garrett Spence is looking in the background, is once again Canavas dropping down. He is out according to our timing screen. So the driver that started 2nd in the race is out, and disaster for the Brazilian driver. And let's have a look and see exactly happened to him coming down towards the bus stop. And I don't know what's going on. Does that sort of strike sort of a mechanical issue there for Canavas?
Yeah, something going on in the real world certainly, and yeah, big shame for Canavas, unless he ran out of fuel. Could have run out of fuel, perhaps maybe put the wrong setup on, but I think it was mainly most likely a case of a hardware failure. And so that is a big hit to gone, and it leaves us with 12 running drivers. Oh, spin in the background, that's Lober, and he was just outside of the transition spots. and he's going to very much struggle to get within there now. He's down into 5th position in class and 11th position overall. Great start for Schnabel. Obviously, we've occasionally seen him storm his way through as Swemstra having to hold off Morphetova. Morphetova goes for the dummy, and they avoided contact, but it has lost them a bit of time, having to race to quite as close as they were. Spencer very close, Lee behind Schnabel, like I was saying before, making up many places so far. I think Schnabel might get 2nd place out of here. He didn't have a pit lane start to serve to Schnabel. I don't know why he didn't do qualifying, but he's absolutely storming up, and he's well on course for battling for that podium by the end of the race.
Yeah, great job. Chase Robinson down in 12th position. He is where he started. He'll be looking to sort of make up a few more positions. 3:05 car as we head once again to the battle. This is Jamie Tukey and Jackie Wong battling it out. As once again, that's Andy Lee and Lennart Schnabel just making his way up through the order, and it's almost making a habit of this, Sam. You know, I always sort of, I don't catch where Schnabel sort of always qualifies, but it always seems that he always sort of ends up having to sort of make his way through the grid. I mean, he's kind of an expert at it, but at the moment, you know, up 8 places from where he started, and Lee, though, not overly happy about being overtaken, trying to get into the slipstream of the German as they head now side by side towards the bus stop chicane. Schnabel is going to be on the inside. Mulloftova's gotten past Zemstra for 2nd place. Schnabel manages to keep that position, and we see the change for 2nd place. Mulloftoba up to 2nd, Zemstra 3rd, Spence 4th, Schnabel 5th, Charpentier and Wong having a little bit of a battle out on track. While all of that's going on, Sam, Redford's just absolutely running away with this.
Yeah, he can cruise to the line. This is probably the biggest gap winning margin we'll have all season, as Charpentier, who I imagine will eventually win out on this one. But Wong did have a very good opening round of the championship at Donington. It was his first round of the championship, first ever Apex Racing League event, I believe. And he is keeping Charpentier very honest. In fact, he was 4/10 faster than Charpentier on that last lap. So actually, maybe it'll be Jackie Wong who makes that move eventually. So Morphetova got back ahead, but then you're just a sitting duck around this fight. It's so easy flat. Like you were saying, they're not really corners, the S's, and I do much prefer the old S's, albeit we have a fair few less pile-ups with this new configuration at least. But you can see how far behind Swemstra was, and if he gets any closer out of turn 1, he'll be ahead before they get to the bus stop. So that's what he needs to be thinking about. But by putting himself slightly offline, it's puts him a few car lengths behind. Schnabel very much with these guys now. He's just 0.8 of a second behind Spence. And then still that battle with Tukey and Charpentier and Wong battling on. Tukey losing time to these two drivers. Wong just had a very poor lap. He was ahead of these two, but he's now the 3rd and 9th.
Charpentier there was almost in another state. He was so wide through the carousel. Charpentier really needs... Oh, and there's a spin in contact! Contact for Charpentier. That's Tukey. Jamie Tukey round at the penultimate corner. And that, unfortunately, is your day done. Rear wheel is certainly not going to be good for any form of speed. And that Charpentier going really slow is going to pull off now. I think his car might just be okay. Garrett Spence in 4th place. Schnabel right on the back of him. He's got so much more speed than Spence. Passed him even before we've got out of the S's section. Schnabel now on the outside line, but you have to think with how much extra speed that Lennart Schnabel has got in his car. He doesn't even need to do it under brake. Certainly not. Is Mulloftoba and Zemstra once again sort of battling it out up ahead, but Lennart Schnabel, oh, and that's wide for Spence. That's going to allow Lee past Spence down into 6th place. Started the lap in 4th, down in 6th place, and got to make sure that he can cover the car. Otherwise, Philip Russell will be looking in, will be close in his mirrors. Mulloftoba now still under pressure from Zemstra, and Zemstra really needs to sort of nail this final corner, doesn't he? He needs to be, as you were saying, Sam, close on the run down to turn 1 to sort of get the slipstream to make the move into the bus stop chicane.
Yeah, it's all about that lineup. I thought we'd see a fair few more moves actually into the penultimate corner, but yeah, it does all seem to be into the bus stop. I mean, this will be easy for Zwemstra. If anything, he's too close here because he'll catch midway through the S's. We'll have to lift out of it unless he's willing to go side by side through the S's. But you can see here he's having to lift out of it because he's just so close. and now he's got to try to generate some momentum, so he didn't get the slingshot, and this actually move is going to be much more tricky than at least I thought it would be initially. Now he can pull alongside, uses the side draft to try to get ahead, but that came to no fruition. So I think the lap before he was too far behind, that time he was too close, and he's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, the Goldilocks approach, I quite like it. We'll see if Zemstra can sort of master it, as I do believe we're ticking down to the final lap of the race. 9 minutes and 20 seconds already gone, and certainly surprising me. Great action in the opening heat of the round 3 of the ARA Formula 4 Championship. Mulovtova really needs to keep this second place. It's such a good start to her championship fight back, in 6th place at the moment, but gathering crucial points as there is the white flag. 1 lap to go, and that will be a marker for Zemstra. He knows that he has to do the move on this lap, and you just see sort of how this sort of gap is sort of, or the field is sort of coming together, is almost contact through turn 1. And do you think Zemstra's going to sort of risk it all, or is he happy with 3rd here?
I think he is going to go for it. He was a bit too close again, but then had almost a poor exit, which I think will help him in the long run, because here comes the slipstream effect. Schnabel is going to be right with these guys by the end of the race, but now he's trying to dip into the draft. He goes to the outside. Mulovtova has been very aggressive so far. I think the Czech driver should have this one covered off. Nothing that Zemstra was going to do. Maybe final lap of the A final, he may have gone for that one, but it's too risky right now. This is for the final transfer spot. It's Wong versus Sloper. They got a spin though. I think Spence has gone off ahead, which might put both of these guys through the next round of to the A final. Spence is super slow. It's going to be a super close battle for the advancing places.
Wong currently in that special 8th place. Spence, as you rightly pointed out, had a spin, but across the line goes Will Redford. Haven't seen his car since the start of the race. No need to, really. He's absolutely dominated heat number 1. Mulovtova's going to come across the line for 2nd place. Zemstra is going to have to settle for 3rd. Congratulations, Lennart Schnabel, 4th. A great recovery drive. Lee, 5th. Russell, 6th. Spence going to recover after that incident on the final lap to 7th place. And Jackie Wong claims the final place into the final A final. Charpentier comes across the line. Laubert just outside in 9th. Charpentier 10th. Robertson in 11th place. Tukey in 12th after that spin at the penultimate corner. Great action, and we are almost immediately into heat number 2. As on our pole, we have Jumentes. He is your pole sitter. Tobias Sek, 2nd on the grid. 2nd row has Porter and Hans Morgan Nielsen. Johan Stolt is 5th. Kamali Charney in 6th place. Kai Bosch in 7th with Givens in 8th. Dorian Arroyo 9th with Jay Walsh in 10th. Nick Pollard is 11th with Pedro Suarez in 12th place. And Paul Jofis Kleist rounds out your top 13. But if I'm not mistaken, Sam, Hans Morgan Nielsen, who's currently in 4th overall, he's got to start from the pit lane.
But he's not going to, which may have repercussions. So we'll see what's going to happen. I will clarify, if you don't serve a pit lane start, there's a risk of being having a race ban in the future, but he should score points tonight, so he's very much still in the racing as far as is starting from the pits, as the lights are coming on for race 2 of the evening. Jomantas pulls away from the pole. Great start for Nielsen. He's already up into 3rd place, and he's going to be out challenging the front runners as well. Poor start for Porter, who's already having to defend from the rest, but still Jomantas leading the way through turn 1. But the chase now properly starts. Sek is very much in range for a potential overtake heading into the bus stop. Good start for K-Batch. He's got ahead of Charney, so a change for the amateur lead right there. But it could all change around this very, very long flats out section. I think Jomantas is 3 outs in the lead, 4/10 of a second, but he's not going to be overtaken. But it's whether or not there's going to be overtakes further back in the pack. Givens was slightly alongside. Porter losing another place. Jomantas has made a mistake. He's off the circuit. He's dropping places. Crucial mistake there for Arias Jomantas. He's in the wall, and the pole sitter is not going to get through to the A final, it looks like.
High drama in heat number 2. Mendes is out, and it looks like a victim of the bus stop chicane curb. So that is sort of promoted Arroyo into 8th place. Somebody who is trying to take that actually. It's Arroyo on Givens through the penultimate corner. Givens goes a little bit wide. Is Johan Stolt in third place, coming under pressure from Porter, and we have a Pro-Am leader, Pro-Am second, and Stolt is our sort of lead amateur driver in third place. But he is coming under pressure from Daniel Porter. Down the inside goes Porter into turn one. That's going to allow Stolt, though, to get the slipstream up the hill. Everybody's running wide through turn one. Watching this battle between Porter and Stolt. Good measure. Kaibok is also on in this battle. They almost touched. I think there was contact there through the S's. Kaibok has got an absolutely amazing run. Stolt pulls out to the inside. They're going to make it 3 wide on the straight. They just close together. Be careful, boys. Let's not end up with any stupid incidents on the straight. And they all get through. Great driving, but Stolt so sideways through the bus stop. Oh, so close to doing what Juventus did 1 lap ago. But Stolt third, Porter fourth. Kaibok in fifth, and that's allowed Cheney, Givens and Arroyo to catch up. This battle is certainly not over, Sam.
No, and now he's got to try to get away, has Stoltz, if he possibly can, try to just get away from any of this battling. I think he might have the pace to do so, but at least around this sort of next 40 seconds of the circuit. Also, oh, huge side, that's not going to help his efforts. That's killed his exit, and it's going to leave him absolutely dead down the straight. Porter easily retaking that position, and even K-Batch may go for an aggressive move, but once you get ahead here, if anything, you don't want to be ahead at this point, because then you give up this toe and the other drivers can gather a lot of momentum. Even 4th and 9 here of Charney, he's going to have an absolutely mega toe. He's going to be pretty much going as fast as these F4 cars can possibly propel themselves, and could get a couple of position. There goes the 3-3-2 on the outside. They're going to go 3 wide. Again, it looks like Porter just putting his car in the middle of the circuit. No option for a couple of the drivers. And in the end, there is no change in that battle. But we could just see this lap after lap for the next 7 minutes.
Certainly you can. Walsh's had some form of incident out on track, and I've noticed Charlie taking the flying line through the bus stop. I think all 4 wheels were off the ground, at least for a few moments. So Charlie having a little bit of a scare as we see the battle for the lead. Tobias Sek versus Hans Morgan Nielsen, both up a position. Sek up 1, Nielsen up 2. And Nielsen now really on the back of Tobias Sek. Pulls out to the inside, wants to get the move done nice and early, but that's going to allow Sek to sort of come back at him. Nielsen now takes the lead, but Tobias Sek is going to have that ever crucial slipstream as we see in the background. It's Porter, Stolt, Kaibok. Charney's dropping off that back a little bit, coming more into pressure from Given. So it's definitely Porter, Stolt and Kaibok battling it out for third place. Battling it out though for the lead. Tobias Sek now trying to regain that lead that he lost a few corners ago. Nielsen though not feeling the need to defend, and I think Tobias Sek is going to play the long game here. Doesn't feel like a move, but the 3-3-2 car down the inside. That's Kaibok on Porter. Oh, and they make contact. Kaibok flew through the air off the curb. Daniel Porter had to take to the grass. I think there was contact between the two drivers. Daniel Porter looks like he's gotten away with that, albeit just losing some time. And that was inevitable, wasn't it, Sam?
It was. They did well to survive as long as they did. And how Porter is still going. I mean, that could have gone so much worse for him, but he's still in the race. He could still get a podium from this one, could Porter. It's absolutely a miracle, and hopefully we see a renewal of that battle later on. This battle is not ending, and I mean, this is just going to be... This is like Daytona road course right now, where you're just preparing for the last lap. You know that track position doesn't matter. You're just preparing where you want to be on the last lap of the race, and that is what these guys were aiming for. Juventus seems to be out of the race. He's an absolute mare and will be starting from last position in the B final bit. I think he should still be able to get through the B final, but will still hurt his chances overall tonight, hurts his points aspirations. As you see Sek there, just lifting out of the throttle. He knows he doesn't need to overtake, and yeah, just fast forward to 3.5 minutes, and then we should see these guys battle a little bit more. Stolt ahead of K-Batch. We've got Porter getting back ahead of Arroyo, I think that was. So still with hopes of catching up to that, but I think it might be a little bit too much to ask. He should get Givens, but that might be as far as the 2.48 gets.
Disappointing for Porter is looks like Nick Polliard has jumped to the pit, so something's happened to the American out on circuit. As we see Kleist and Suarez having a battle, and that looks like a very sad Formula 4 car. And You certainly want more 4 wheels on your wagon rather than 3, and we're going to have a little bit of a replay to see what exactly happened. I'll let you, Sam, talk through this one.
Yeah, so he's constantly, oh, he's just misjudged the curb. So I mean, that's what I was talking about earlier on, where you can take the curb just perfect and then you take it slightly differently and it messes it up. But actually the big context was soon after bumping over the second curb, and once again he probably has never driven that curb in quite that manner, and once again unsettling the car and leading it into the wall. A little bit of a sad spin that in the end he'll be frustrated with that, especially seeing that he maybe had a chance at a top 8. Here comes Porter. He is not quite past Gibbons. Great defense from Gibbons. He's not at all giving this this position up. Arroyo's right in the box seat. Got the best view of anyone of this battle. But Porter has got ahead eventually. He's up into 6th place. He's lost a lot of time to the drivers ahead. 3 seconds now to catch. He is not going to be able to do that by the end of the race. But now his focus just got to be to consolidate that 6th place. So we tune back with our leaders. 1/4 of a second. These guys have got the fastest laps of the race. They're pretty much super consistent. I mean, pretty much lapping on that lap to the 100th of a second even. Mega driving from these guys. But K-Bash, look at that, lighting up purple on the timing tower. He is catching up Stoltz just ahead, although Stoltz actually with an even faster lap time, but I think picked up a 1x, so it didn't count as a valid lap. But the pace is strong, certainly at the front of this field.
It certainly is. And what has happened to Kybok? He didn't really have the pace in qualifying, but has found it so far in the races. Once again, we rejoined this Porter Arroyo Gibbons battle. Dorian Arroyo in 7th place in the middle of this little pack. We see Tobias Sek in the lead. So Sek has got past Nilsson. So Tobias Sek, after waiting and waiting and waiting, finally decided that now is his time to strike. And I have to say, he's sort of leaving Nilsson for dust at the moment. 7/10 separating the 2 drivers through the penultimate corner. We go. Stays far away from that exit curve. That means what you want to do in these low Formula 4 cars. Arroyo, Porter, sorry, it's Gibbons, Arroyo, Porter, the 3 battle. You have to say at the moment, Gibbons just extending that gap. Dorian Arroyo now really under pressure from Porter, and I wonder, does the Englishman have a little bit of damage to that 248 machine? He did make contact a few laps ago, rode the curves pretty hard, makes the move on Arroyo. You have to say that Suarez is a little bit far out of this battle, so unless anything majorly happens between this Gibbons-Porter-Arroyo battle, Sam, you know, Arroyo's looking good to get into the final as long as he sort of keeps it consistent. I think Suarez is just a little bit too far away.
We are 1.3 seconds at the moment. On that last lap, Suarez gained by a second, so it will be close. If it's going to be a move, it's going to be on the last lap. Has something happened to Sek there? What's going on? So Sek was ahead. He pulled out a second ahead, didn't he? And then he slowed down again. So I don't know what's going on with these guys at the moment, because I think maybe Nilsson got a slowdown or something, but I don't think he can get a slowdown. Maybe is it around this part of the circuit? Oh wow, he took he took the wrong amount of curb at least, unsettled the car, and I think he was home and safe there, Sek. I think he pulled away enough, but yeah, that mistake has really cost him bad.
Yeah, sort of forced errors. It's the white flag, so Sek needs to get past Nilsson if he wants to regain that lead, but Nilsson sets the fastest lap time of the race, or at least he did. Sort of handily beaten by Stolt in 3rd. Joseph Gibbons now on the back of the 248 car. Porter's had a mega lap while we were having a look at that replay. Porter up to 6th, Gibbons in 7th, Arroyo in 8th, but Gibbons has got the absolutely best chance to get into 6th place. Porter's pushing all of the air out of the way. Gibbons is saying, thank you very much, I will take all of that slipstream. He's going to pull to the outside, and who's got the better straight line speed? They almost touch wheels as we head round the final of the S's and onto the back straight. Gibbons now is going to have to go all the way around the outside. Who is feeling brave enough? They're going to go side by side through the bus stop. Gibbons on the inside is going to push Porter a little bit wide in. Great move there by Joseph Gibbons, the number 3 American. Absolutely a great job by him, and Porter off the road. Maybe a little bit of frustration seeping in, but that's going to give him the side-by-side, using all of the extra road. That's going to give him the extra speed he needs to stick it down the inside of the penultimate corner. Behind them, Arroyo and Suarez are having a battle. Nilsson wins from Tobias Sek. Stolt comes up across the line in 3rd place. Kybok will finish 4th, but who is going to finish 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th? Well, Charlie finishes 5th, Porter 6th, Given 7th, Arroyo 8th, and Suarez just outside the magical 8th place in 9th. But what a final few corners, Sam.
Yeah, 8/100ths of a second separating Arroyo and Suarez in the end. Super close, great racing up and down the field. Whoosh, the final gyro to cross the line. So the top 8 will go through. The rest will go through to the B final, where we've got a slightly smaller field today. So a lot of them will get through. The top 6 in the B final will all get through. And unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be one of them. So I think that helps out the drivers. I mean, thank goodness I'm not out on circuit. They'd be trembling right now. Loebert is on pole position there, ahead of Suarez. Charpentier in 3rd place. Clist, Robertson, Walsh, Tukey, Polliard, Canavas and Yamantas. So, I mean, it's a smaller field, top 6 go through. So, I mean, only 4 are going to be eliminated in this race. But we have got 4 pros in this one, so it's going to be fairly competitive amongst the AMs about who can get through. I mean, you know, Loebert in particular, super quality amateur driver. I mean, you know, on the fringe of the pro-ams, so it will be tight, I think, in this one. Could be an entertaining race.
Certainly one to watch all the way through. 14 minutes of racing coming your way. Lars Loebert on the pole position. Suarez in 2nd place. They are your front row. Everybody watches the lights, ready to get underway for the B final here at round 3 of the ARA Formula 4 Championship. Great start from our top 2. Looks on as even as we head towards turn 1. Lars Loebert in the lead, Suarez in 2nd place. They are 3 wide in the background though. That's a very late send from the 1-2-3 car. Does it well to get it slowed down. No contact made from any of the drivers. Chase Robinson though, according to our timing screen, has jumped to the pit, so not sure what's happening to the American driver. That leaves 9 drivers in the race, at least at the moment, but through the S's we go. Lars Loebert, Pedro Suarez, oh so close together. They're going to be side by side. Suarez on the inside. Lars Loebert just going to have to give this one up, and Pedro Suarez in the lead of this race. Now Loebert's coming under pressure from Charpentier as we head round the carousel, and I think Loebert's going to have to start throwing some defensive shapes as we head towards the penultimate corner. Suarez has absolutely run away with this so far. Off the road goes Charpentier. Paul Joseph Cleese in the background has the best view of the action up ahead, but I think he's a little bit busy looking in the mirrors. That's Jay Walsh in the background. He's already made up 1 position as the 316 driver. Jamie Tukey as well, making up that position. I think that's probably from Robertson, although it looks like Robertson is now out on track, Sam. But once again, a fairly clean start. It was only Canavas that was making some moves, but even then that was clean from him, just a little bit ambitious.
Yes, yeah, it was good stuff. I think the drivers realised 14 minutes, it's a long race. And yeah, it's all about just getting their way through. I mean, there's no points. As long as you get through, there's no points for this race. It's all about just transferring. You do get a better grid spot for the A final, but it's mainly just survival as the 1-2-3 is onto the grass right there. Is he able to pull it off? If they were cautious on that point, they're not cautious anymore. Canavas is up to 3rd place, but he was throwing caution to the wind, completely going against what I was saying. And it's Tukey now outside of the advancing spots, and it's going to be a tricky time for him to get through because he's now got Yamantas, who obviously was 2nd place in qualifying.
So I'm going to pose a question to you, Sam. Canavas is in 6th place at the moment. He's going to get through to the final as long as he keeps his position. Do you think that he's going to know that and just want to stay in 6th, or is that racing driver instinct going to take over and he wants every last position he can get?
I think hopefully he's cautious, hopefully he's like taking percentage moves, but I think he'll certainly get past Clist and Walsh up ahead as here comes Yamantas. Tukey fighting hard, to be fair, but he is making life hard for these pros, but not hard enough. Might be able to respond, to be fair, but it's a losing battle in the end. Yamantas is just in a different category, the pro versus the AM, and so you should be racing off up ahead now. Loebert still very close to Charpentier. He's been able to keep that gap low. Great performance right now for Loebert to be battling with some of the best pros in this series. Behind him, I think that's Walsh trying to go around the outside of Clist. Clist is over the curb. They're losing so much time, and look how many car lengths immediately Canavas was able to make up, and he's right in this fight all of a sudden.
How did Cleese not end up in the wall? Great car control from the number 392 car. But actually, right, really put Canavassus now behind Jay Walsh. If anything, Cleese has sort of benefited from that little mistake, you might have to say. But down the inside goes Juventus. He's on the... Oh, he's ahead now of Canavas. So the two pro drivers scrapping it out. And currently, as it stands, this is the battle to get into the A final. Canavas not in the top 6 at the moment. Cleese 4th, Walsh 5th, Juventus 6th, Canavas in 7th place, and actually Tukey in 8th, just watching this battle. And he could get involved if the drivers continue to fight, but Walsh now right on the back of Paul Cleese as we head through the S's. Now side by side, I thought they were going to be for a minute there. You don't like to see cars going too wide through the S's, but you have to say that Walsh just sort of played his hand a little bit too early, because that's going to allow Juventus to come through, and they're going to make it 3 wide between Walsh, Canavas and Juventus. Walsh is going to hang on to the inside. It's going to be really messy, and it was, and there's contact in the burst stop. Walsh is round, Juventus is round. Charpentier has also had some form of issue out on track. Oh, and there's more contact just out of the camera shot. High drama here, Sam. That Charpentier, was he involved in that second incident?
Yeah, he collided with Robertson, I think. The percentages, guys, the percentages. Or was it Juventus? I thought it was Juventus he collided with Robertson, but here we go. Charpentier, oh, so Charpentier lost it by himself, did he? He ran wide. So he was totally unrelated, so it was Robertson who made contact later on, so Charpentier would have been well outside the transition spots. He's still 7th place because of the chaos that was happening behind him. Not sure how much damage he's got. Charpentier should get away with that one. Juventus then, I wonder if you could get a replay from Juventus's perspective, or maybe like a chopper angle or something. But Charpentier, well, his nose is scuffed, but it looks sort of alright for him, and he was just getting past Polyard, who's a lap down. So here was Juventus. Yeah, I mean, the car head kind of went off, but then you could argue, should Juventus be putting his car there? You know, we were talking about it right from the start of the day. And then goes Robertson trying to get past, which at least Juventus didn't get too much damage from that. Robertson out of the race, however. But yeah, I don't know what your thoughts on that one are, Seb, but if you're Juventus in that situation, I don't think you should be going around the outside. You know, you should just be holding back and, you know, just not taking any risks. But looks like he's going to get away from it. He's still in 6th place.
I really like George, you know, playing the percentages game, and yeah, you know, whether he could have done or was allowed to be there, you know, within the rules, it's never a good idea. You know, we're still not even halfway through the race. He was, you know, able to progress, and he had the two, you know, amateur drivers ahead of him that, you know, are a little bit slower than him. You know, not dissing the AMs at all, they are incredibly quick drivers, but, you know, Juventus showed that he had the pace in qualifying, so I'm not sure why he felt the need to risk it all, and it ended up really not working for him. And actually, you know, Canavas, who, you know, started the lap in 7th place, is now up to 3rd, is Pedro Suarez and Lobert once again battling it out for the lead. Suarez took the lead on the opening lap, but Lobert has just been consistently that little bit quicker per lap, gaining and gaining, and now Lobert is able to mount the attack on Suarez as Tukey and Cleese still battling it out. And has Cleese had some form of issue out on track? I think he has. There he is in the background, another victim of the bus stop chicane. And Cleese, after having that great run and, you know, being involved in that incident, he was, you know, really easily going to make it through. And what's going to happen to him? And I think this is going to be a failed overtake, Sam.
Yeah, so this is on Tukey, I think. And again, well, to be fair, Tukey backed out of it, and it's just the mistake. And it's the curb once again. We've seen it so many times where he didn't take too much curb. You know, he took less curb than he usually takes. But it just unstarted the car and spun round. Oh, what a shame, because that was an awesome opportunity for Paul to get through to the 8th round. He was driving really well earlier on. I mean, we shouldn't forget he was keeping behind pros behind him for like the first 5 or 6 minutes of this race, despite them not having any issues. And yeah, the gates kind of opened for him. But with how this race has gone so far, I wouldn't bet against something happening to these front guys over the next 6 minutes. But looks like all the battles have died off, unfortunately, because Lobert has maybe got a slow down or made a mistake, and the gap is up to 1.3 seconds, and it's maybe just worth just keeping an eye on the relative to see if that gap comes down. But it's not really. I mean, it's going down by thousandths of a second, but that's not going to be enough for Lobert to catch back up.
No, it's last lap. Suarez did a 1 minute 11.6. Compared that to Laubert's 12.1, so Laubert losing a lot of time. We saw how close they were at the bus stop, so Laubert not had the final sector that he would have needed to continue that fight. This is Juventus and Tuki. Juventus looks like his car is fairly in order, doesn't look too under-series from the onboards. Having a look, and he'll be wanting to get past Tuki. Actually, Juventus sets the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 11.4. A little bit under though through turn 1, hits the curb, bottoms out the car. It's going to hurt Juventus' sort of 1, 2 key as we head up through the S's towards the bus stop chicane. Site of almost all of the drama so far today. You can see a little bit more in the slipstream. Juventus now doesn't feel like he wants to make a move. No, just backs out of it. Just doesn't want to risk any more. He's already taken his risk and maybe feels like his luck is sort of run out. He's had all of the good luck, but he has a mega bus stop. Is able to place the car so much better than Tuki. Tuki just out of shape from the word go. And that is Juventus passing quite an unorthodox place around the carousel. Juventus up to 4th, Tuki in 5th, and Juventus, we were saying earlier, Sam, needed to play the percentages game. And that's exactly what he did there. He went for a relatively low risk move, and he's gifted with 4th place.
Exactly, and you think that instant, how on earth did he not get damaged? I mean, straight after that crash, he set the fastest lap of the race. So he got hit twice, remember? He got hit twice, and there's not a scratch on that Formula 4 car, so absolute miracle for him right there. By the way, quick shout out to one of the sponsors for this series, Apex Racing Academy, which of course is the title sponsor this season for this Formula 4 Championship. Apex Racing Academy offering setups and data packs for cars just like this, including the IR 04. And yeah, those data packs including track guides, setups, weekly group coaching sessions, which are absolutely awesome because sometimes you can just get almost like a one-on-one session with some of the best drivers on iRacing, and certainly heard many good reviews of drivers who have been able to improve their performance from that. So if you want to get faster in these single-seater cars, in the touring cars, in the prototypes, even in the rallycross cars, do go to apexracingac.com and get yourself a bronze, silver or gold membership. Certainly I have a subscription. I don't know where I would not be without it, and I know many of the other ARTV guys have it, so we certainly all endorse it. As I see purple on the timing tower, Canavas setting the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, Canavas showing the pace that I think we sort of all expected from him. So his car doesn't look too damaged either, but Tuki had a fairly decent last lap, quicker than Juventus up ahead of him. So Tuki sort of staying on the back of the pro driver. I wonder, is Tuki feeling a little bit adventurous as we head towards the bus stop chicane? Tuki, though, going to have to send it to the inside. Not close enough to make an easy pass. I think Tuki just realizing that's not the battle that he's in today, or at least not feeling like it yet. It's about 11 and 3/4 minutes gone of this 14-minute race. Suarez leads Lars Laubert in 2nd place. Canavas is 3rd, Juventus 4th. Tuki in 5th, Charpentier, after spinning all by himself on the exit of the bus stop, up to 6th place. And our final Progress E to the A final for Cleese in 7th place. Just outside after that unlucky spin for him in the bus stop. So close to gaining entry into the A final, but at this, as it stands at the moment, just sort of a little bit outside, disappointingly outside. It's always worse when you finish just one position outside of the place that you need to advance. As Suarez just seems to just have more pace, Sam. Laubert managed to mount a charge earlier on in this race, but Suarez has been able just to absolutely respond, and Laubert just doesn't have an answer for him at the moment.
No, yeah, Suarez has just had not a lot more pace, but I think it's made a couple less errors, and it's been very strong for him. Looking at the YouTube chat, great to see clearly some of Suarez's supporters out here. I assume they're Portuguese supporters, not Manchester United supporters. So yes, thanks guys for tuning in. It's good to see the fan bases out here. Anyone else watching along? Let us know who you are supporting out on circuit, as we are heading into the final lap of the race. And it's now up to 1.8 seconds for Suarez. He is absolutely comfortable continuing to extend that gap. He's lapping about 3/10 of his best lap so far in the race, so probably not pushing it 100%. He knows that he's done enough to take the win right here.
Yeah, certainly not pushing the car. Somebody, though, I think is pushing the car is Tukey. He's coming under pressure now from 6th place, Mark Charpentier. He is wanting that 5th place. Will he risk it all on the final lap? Only time will tell. About 5/10 separates 5th and 6th place at the moment. Mark, though, with a little bit of damage. Is that going to affect his straight line speed? As we head on to the back straight, only time will tell. Charpentier now in the wheel tracks of Tukey. Can't get past him, though. Wiggling around, sort of struggling to get the car slowed down, it looked like there, but he's got so much more speed through the bus stop chicane. He's going to feel like he can send it up the inside of the carousel. No, backs out of that one, but he's got so much more grip at the moment to the outside, but then switches back to the inside, almost contact, does the dummy, sends it to the inside of the penultimate corner. They're going to be side by side. This is all over 5th place. Charpentier just backs out of it as we see Suarez cross the line. He wins the B final. Aubert second, Canavas third. Juventus is going to cross the line in 4th, but who is going to be 5th place? I think Tukey's just got the run of him. They're going to be defending as they cross the start-finish line. Tukey 5th. Charpentier is through to the final in 6th place, and Paul Cleese is going to have to settle for just outside the magical top 6th as Juventus sets the fastest lap of the race on that final lap, and that sort of seems a little bit like a calling card of Juventus, showing this is what the pace, this is what I can do if I get the run, if I can survive those opening laps. Juventus could be a real threat in the A final here.
Yeah, I mean, he's super quick. Problem is he's saying P20 for the A final, but that was his mistake, wasn't it? In the heat format, it put him in trouble. But at least he is through to that A format, and I think you're absolutely right. Like, if he can get through those first couple of laps, we could see him gain a lot of places. So should be a good opportunity for him there. And of course, the big points are available for the A final. So the Heat 2 is complete, also the B final is complete, and we now head over to the warm-up, and this is a good opportunity for us to have a little bit of a break on Apex Racing TV. We're going to show you a couple of advertisements from the sponsors for this series, but we'll be back with you in just a few minutes time for the final race of the evening.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Good second race.
Yeah, he would have been able to stay in the draft. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, paid to that.
Yeah,
welcome back to the final race of the evening, the A final in the Apex Racing Academy Formula 4 Championship. We are just got a couple of more seconds to go in the warm-up session before we will start the gridding up process. And yeah, Sebastian's going to be tricky to beat Will Redford. He's looked very strong in qualifying and his heat so far.
Oh, he certainly has. Absolutely class of the field so far. But, you know, we've seen drivers that are ultra quick just not being able to survive the bus stop. So will Redford fall a victim to that? Only time will tell. But Redford lines up in pole position. Nilsson in second place, Mulavtova third, Tobias Sek fourth, Zemstra in fifth, and our second highest pro driver. So Zemstra's got it all to do. Stolt in sixth, Schnabel seventh, Kaibok 8th, Lee 9th, Kawali Charney in 10th place, Philip Russell 11th, Porter 12th. We have Garrett Spence in 13th place, Joseph Givens 14th, Jackie Wong 15th, Dorian Arroyo 16th, Suarez 17th, Lobert 18th, Canifas 19th, Jumentis 20th, Tukey 21st, and Charpentier rounding out the 22-car grid in 22nd place. And we are going to get in for an absolutely mega final race as the lights build up and we get ready to go racing. And we are underway. I'll let you take this one. Actually, no, I will continue having a little bit of issues there. But Redford in the lead. Great job by Will Redford. Controlled the restart. Nilsson in second. Mulavtova third. Tobias Sek fourth. So it's all even in the top four. Fifth place, though, goes to Lennart Schnabel. He's made up 2 positions from the start. This is Tukey battling it out with the number 3 car. That's Givens in the battle there. So this is 18th, 17th battle, and we have Jumentis and Charpentier all in the battle. Wong's had some form of issue, 18 seconds off. They're side by side through the bus stop corner. There's going to be a spin, I think, in the forefront. Yes, it is, but I think that's Stolt off the road. Stolt, I think, has done a full 360, but he's managed to continue. But disastrous start from Johan Stoll. Zemstra as well, down 3 places. So Redford's had an absolutely mega start. With the rest of our pro drivers in 7th, 8th and 9th really not having the best start. Porter up to 10. Russell down to 11 as very wide there. That's Lennart Schnabel off the road. Philip Russell though on the back of Porter as we cross the final corner to cross the line to start lap number 2 of the feature race here. They're side by side. That's Lee and Kaibok. This is over the AM lead. And round the outside goes the 196 car. That's Zemstra. He needs to get past these two if he wants any hope of battling Redford. But what a mega start for Redford. Already a second ahead of Nilsson. He couldn't make it up. I mean, this is the dream start for Will Redford.
Yeah, he would have been tricky to beat had he started in P10, but he's already got a head start seemingly, as they are absolutely fighting furiously just behind. I think at the front of that one, it's that Zwemstra having to go right to the inside. In fact, that Zwemstra trying to attack K-Batch. Was he able to get through? He was. Great effort there to be able to overtake on that occasion. Now Schnabel is going to go through as well as the teammates, the Alcantech teammates, being able to make some overtakes right now. Porter's off the circuit in the background, albeit it's sort of on the circuit. I don't think you get a 1x right there. And still they are alongside. K-Batch not giving up on this one. He wants to fight these pros, not just beat the drivers in his class. He wants to score as many points as he can. And of course it's your overall position that you get points for, so there is an interest in these beating the pros. But I think that one was always going to lose out. Porter very wide coming out of the final corner. I think he avoided touching the wall, but he was not leaving much to play with right now. So the front guys are quite spread out. The first sorts of top 5 are fairly spread out, and then after that we've just got about 3 absolutely mega packs. And once again it's becoming a repeated theme. You start the chase up here and it could be all change coming up at the bus stop. So 369, brilliant start for Lee. He's going to be overtaken. The teammates are almost going alongside. Are they going to be able to get past? I think the 196 will be comfortably passed. No, he's not. Lee managing to cover the entire circuit, managing to cover attacks from both fronts. And there's the 128 with a superb move there. That is Stoltz absolutely pouncing, and he passes both Alcantech drivers who looked like they were both going to get past, but they both lost a position in the end.
Mega run through the bus stop from him, and he's going to try and do one better up the inside of Lee into the penultimate corner. They're going to go side by side. Oh, and they've made contact. Lee's round, Zemstra's round. There's another car involved as well. K-Park involved as well. Disaster for Lee. He was leading the AM championship, well, sorry, the AM race, and he's down all the way in 17th place. Schnabel up to 5th, Stolt in 6th, Porter 7th. Russell now leads the AM standings. Cheney in 9th place. Canavasas up the inside of Suarez, and Kaibok and Zemstra just unlucky. Lee as well. And we now rejoin the battle. This is for 2nd place. This is Nielsen on Molovtova. So Molovtova's managed to get past Nielsen somewhere in all of that melee, but Nielsen does not want to stand for that. He wants back into 2nd place. Can't do anything about it though. Molovtova just got so much speed. It's down the inside goes Stolt on Porter. Oh, and there's super out of shape there for one of the Alcatech cars. I think that's Lennart Schnabel. They're side by side with Stolt and Schnabel, the two pro drivers racing round the carousel. Stolt, though, has got a mega run, took the IndyCar line, just went wide, gathered all of that speed to unleash it towards the penultimate corner. Can't do anything about it, though, at the moment. He's going to have to find another way past Lennart Schnabel, as they are side by side, almost Noah's Ark heading into the 2nd to last corner. We're going to see a move down the inside, no, round the outside. I think that was a defensive move rather than an offensive move there. That's the 1, 2, 3 car. That's Canavas in the lead, and that's Porter and Suarez battling side by side. And the 308 cars getting involved in all of this. That's Lars Lobert. Down the inside he goes off one of the Racing Forces cars, pushes him out wide. It's absolutely crazy out there. We can say, the drivers want to keep it sort of calm and collected through the heat races, and now we've got to the A final. It's all bets are off.
Yeah, that was super confusing because he had Spence who's a lap down in all of that, so he was the car going very slowly on the inside, and we had an absolute mega pack for a moment. Side by side, Stolt slightly off the circuit ahead, but he's fine. Canavas ahead. Oh, what's happening to Charney? Oh no! Oh, Charney was in the wall, but he's got back going, so he will 2nd place out of the AMS. Russell now with a comfortable lead in the AMS. I think he's probably been like the 4th fastest AM tonight as Russell, and yet there he is. Of course, brother to George Russell, the Formula 1 driver, is Philip, and he's certainly emulating his sibling right there as we come close to a similar instance to what we saw earlier on. Suarez just comes back onto the circuit though, and he's going to have a brilliant chance at pulling off this overtake after all. They're going to go 3 wide now down the French straight. It might be Joe who's got the slipstream from Diamantis who pulls out ahead, and it was. So Suarez was able to get ahead in all of that. As Stoltz now, well, he's stuck on the inside of the circuit. I just thought he went wide there, but no, it was a proper off-jack. He was stuck on the inside, and a couple of brilliant moves so far for Stoltz, but he's undone that as we leave just 3 drivers now at the front. Sek now into 2nd in line here, but again, it's just all track position. But what a shame for Stolt, he was tracking so well.
He was indeed. Let's have a look. Just too much speed, catches the curb in a little bit of an awkward position. Around the car goes, hits the barrier for good measure, just to increase the pain of the spin, and rejoins fairly well. It's so difficult when you're on this side of the road. You can't see anything, but side by side, this is Diamantis and Suarez. Suarez is on the inside, heading to the 2nd to last corner. Diamantis is going to have to pull in and try and find a way by, probably now into turn 1. We haven't really seen too many moves into the final corner. We're not going to see one any time soon, and that's Lobert and Giffens having a battle just behind these two, and you have to wonder, maybe Lobert and Giffens just need to sort of truce, sort of fly the white flag between one of them and just sort of accept that they can battle, but just get onto the back of the Suarez-Diamantis battle, carry that slipstream, carry that momentum, see if you can get up to the Canavas Porter-Russell battle. Russell at the moment, he said, about the Formula 1, his brother being the Formula 1 driver, his nickname is Mr. Consistency, and Russell certainly proving how vital consistency is in races like this. He's not been the quickest driver out there, but the consistency has absolutely been there for Philip Russell. He's paying dividends at the moment. Suarez in the lead of this battle. Diamantis now having to pull in just behind him. Lobert getting in on the action. As who is that? That's Lee getting all a quiver over the inside curb, and it looked like he had a little bit of damage there for a minute, Sam, but I think he just got away with that. That's Jamie Tukey involved in that. It's once again Suarez now and Diamantis. Suarez once again choosing the inside line, heading into the 2nd to last corner, pulls across the front of Diamantis' Formula 4 car. Redford sets the fastest lap of the race just while all of this is going on. You have to think that, you know, Yumantis has got so much more pace sort of out of the bus stop. Do you think Yumantis is going to have to start thinking about making a move into the final corner, Sam?
Yeah, I think that might be the place to do it, honestly, as Russell. This is defending, isn't it, against Porter? Wow, Russell had a rubbish lap that last time round. He lost, well, he was 1.5 seconds slower than the race leader, but even compared to the drivers around him, he lost a second. So, yeah, really poor lap there for Russell, and it's put him in trouble. As this is Nilsson. Nilsson can't go around the outside here. No, he's just going to line it up. Mistake from Sek, and now mistake from Nilsson as well. Sek will go across the grass. He'll get a slowdown for that. Nilsson, though, with a much bigger penalty, sliding off. Where will he rejoin? Surely he's going to be in the middle of one of the packs. It's pretty much what's the case all the way down. Smart drone there for Nilsson. Very slow over the grass. Came on at a good angle. And he is well and truly in a pack now, so he was having a fun race, but now he's going to have an even more dramatic race. And it was the mistake from Sek, I think, which put Nilsson off. Sek, I think, turned into the corner, realised he was going to hit Morfetova, turned out, and Nilsson, I don't think, really knew what to do there because he was going to have to take evasive action.
That curve reminds me of some of the curves that you find at the Nordschleife, ones that you either need to fully commit to or just not touch at all, and they're the two extremes. You can't sort of half-heartedly take the curve, it just sort of spits the car out. Battle once again between Suarez and Juventus heating up down into turn one, and now with the addition of Nilsson in 10th place, trying to make up those positions he lost in the spin one lap ago. And in the background as well, Lodberg, Charpentier, Givens as well, all battling it out. So any of these drivers, you know, they have to watch out, because any sort of slip up, any slight mistake, will be down several positions. Is again the slipstream taking over. Nilsson not really feeling the need to get into the slipstream. He's just going to try and go around the outside. It looks like he's already around the outside of one. Juventus sent it up the inside. Nilsson now really, once again, Sam, just, you know, taking that curve in the middle and just, I mean, practically taking off. And at that point, you're at God's will of whether you're going to land or crash. Yeah,
thank goodness it's tarmac out there as Nilsson overtakes Givens. He's got that one done. Of course, Nilsson was up in the top, well, his second place, wasn't he, Nilsson? So he should be able to pull away. Givens actually going to have a very good result, even though he's sort of been the consistent one out of them, where everyone else is moving left and right. He's been fairly consistent, so Nilsson, apologies. He's the one getting past Lodberg right now, who is a quick driver, Lodberg, because he started down in 18th place. He managed to go through the B final, so he's not going to be easy to pass as the number 3 of Givens going onto the grass. Good evasive action there, tried to gain a position in all of that mess, but wasn't able to. Suarez just ahead of Yumantis. These guys, you were talking about working together. These two are so quick, they absolutely should be working together. I think they might be doing that because they can certainly get a top 5 out of this, because they have the potential to outlap the drivers ahead of them. Shouts out to SDK Gaming, by the way, the providers of our brilliant overlay. You can see all the brilliant graphics that we have up on screen, also live timing, and a brilliant heads-up display provided by them as we see Yumantis getting back ahead of Suarez. But do check out sdk-gaming.co.uk in order to get yourself a subscription. I think there's also a 14-day free trial, so certainly worth trying it out if you haven't before, as maybe these guys aren't working together because they seem to be battling as though it's the white flag.
Sam, yeah, for the first time we sort of seen Juventus sort of showing its hand, sending it to the inside, and Suarez says, thank you very much, but I much prefer this 8th place over 9th place. Is Lodberg and Nilsson still battling it out. So Nilsson, you know, a few laps ago was on the back of the Suarez Juventus battle, but, you know, dropping down the order. Lodberg getting past him. Givens almost sort of having a go through the bus stop, and we both had a very sharp intake of breath when Givens sort of took a little bit too much speed on the exit of the bus stop and almost collided with the back of Nilsson, but somehow managed to avoid any form of drama and quite skillfully, you know, sort of took the car onto the grass and reduce that closing speed. Great job by Givens to do so, but yeah, Nilsson not having the race that he would have wanted, battling at the sharp end a few laps ago and now struggling to keep within the top 10. Is given a little bit of a jink to the inside. He's going to half-heartedly send it. Thankfully backs out of that one. Always like Martin Brundle's quote of, really, it's like a half-hearted tackle in rugby, never a good idea. Always just end up sort of in a more dangerous position. But what is this? Yumantis is off the back of Suarez, so Yumantis you know, from trying to attack. Suarez is now coming under pressure from Lober. Nielsen as well trying to get into the battle. And Yumantis is just dropping down the order. Lober in 9th.
Porter, with a mistake, he's going to rejoin just ahead of these guys. No, he's gone. I think, has he crashed, Porter? No, he's back on again.
So Porter's had some form of issue. So that's, you know, Suarez, you know, was down in sort of 8th place or 9th place a few laps to go, up to 7th. Nielsen in 8th, Lober in 9th. They're 3 wide as we head towards the second to last corner. I think Yumantis is going to have to give this one up and just sort of play the long game here as the 308 car of Lober sends it to the inside, but so does Yumantis, but Yumantis gets stuck behind the average driver of Lober. Nielsen still in the lead, down the inside goes Yumantis. Lober still on the outside, and Givens is just sort of waiting and sort of wondering where he can get past, and Givens is now past the pro driver of Yumantis, and this is not what Yumantis needs whatsoever. He was our pole sitter in race 2, made the mistake on the opening lap, and you could just see how much that's hurting him at the moment, fighting over 11th place now, but he is in the slipstream of the number 3 car as we head through the S's, but Givens also got that benefit off Lober. Lober has also got the straight line speed advantage over Nielsen, so it's anybody's guess who's going to come out of the bus stop in what order. Yumantis though still at 9 positions, but nothing could beat Canavas's 14 positions gained since the start of the race. And Yumantis, oh, and that's Lober off the track. That's a huge advantage now to Givens. Givens going to go past Lober. Lober with an unusual mistake. We were saying how sort of calm and collected he's been all throughout the race, but made that mistake at the crucial time. That's going to allow Givens to go past. Yumantis now going to be on the inside as well as we head to the second to last corner. Yumantis now going to have to get past Lober if he wants any chance of sticking with Givens, which he does, but Yumantis almost spins on the exit, catches the curb, and somehow, some way manages to keep it out of the wall. Great driving by Yumantis. That's why he's the pro driver, because that was the save of the race.
Yeah, that was absolutely making. He's having a fun race, isn't he, Yumantis? I'm not sure if he's having fun right now. He's probably sweating a lot because he made a mistake which kind of puts him off the back of Suarez a few laps ago, and then ever since then it's just been crazy, and maybe overheating his tyre slightly as well, which might result in the slides that he's having. But I don't know. I don't know why he's going so slow, but yeah, maybe it is those tyres losing a bit of grip. But now he seems to be back going again. Givens, how Givens has survived this, I swear he's just been always in the epicenter of the racing tonight, and yet he seems to always avoid the crashes. That's the curse if I've ever heard one. Yumantis lining him up, also as well catching up in the background. We only have 2 more laps to go. We'll just about get 2 more laps to go, so still opportunities for overtakes to be made, and surely only a matter of time until Porter can catch back up to these guys. Givens, if he can get a top 10 here, Givens, that would be very impressive, because I am fearing for him right now. He could well lose 4 places by the end of this, as here comes Yumantis. He's going to be the first one to get his way past. He is up into 9th position now, heading into turn 1. It's Yumantis ahead of Givens.
Saying Yumantis needs to lose the 0 in his position. I think referring to Yumantis being in 10th. Every time he's made the comment, he's already in 9th place, but now under pressure. There's contact in the background there, just a little bit of an echo. I think Lober, Porter, all involved in this scrap. They're going to be 3 wide. Givens as well, sort of running the outside line. He's got no slipstream out of there, but that might work to his advantage. Just not many cars ahead of him, and just try and avoid any sort of drama. Lober, Yumantis side by side as we enter the bus stop. Lober on the outside. Yumantis has got an absolutely mega run. Givens is off the track once again. Givens did that line a few laps ago, and once again masters it pretty well, keeps it out of the barrier, but he's sort of adrift now of this fight. Yumantis and Lober, 2 drivers who you wouldn't be expecting to battle, but have provided such great action so far. I think we're on the final lap of the race now, so they have got 1 lap and 1 more corner to go. And who will it be? Will it be Lober in the lead? Will it be Yumantis in the lead of this little battle? Or will Porter or Leo Givens surprise us? Anything can happen, and it certainly will here. The ARA Formula 4 Championship, the white flag flies down the inside, goes Yumantis. Oh, look at that. That's Porter making a little bit of a move on Lober. Lober just had to back out of it a little bit. You have to say that Yumantis is in the pouncy at the moment. Porter now getting past Lober. Porter's gone from 9th to 11th. There's Molotova, Schnabel and Sek battling it out for the 2nd place on the podium. Sarah Molotova doing an absolutely stellar job at the moment. I said she had the pace in the practice session, and she has just been absolutely at one with her Formula 4 machinery. Juventus, Lee is in 10th place, Porter in 11th. They're all battling it out. As we see Molotova and Redford crosses the line, 13 seconds adrift of everybody else. There's a little bit of a wheel spin, and I think he could have done that before the line. You still would have comfortably have won the race, as just shows how much Redford's pace has been. But this is the battle we want to see. Porter 9th, Juventus 10th, Lee in 11th place. As we have a look at Lee, he's the car, the blue car in the very background. Down the inside goes Gibbons. They're side by side through the final corners. Anybody going to feel brave and stick it to the inside? I don't think so. Somehow Porter's going to come across the line in 9th place. Juventus 10th, Lee just outside the top 10 in 11th, Gibbons in 12th. Gibbons trying to make it past, but cannot do it. And I'd love to see that final lap, that final battle for 9th place, because that changed so much in the final lap, Sam.
Yeah, that was absolutely mega. Imagine if we had another 5 minutes. I'm sure they would have continued battling or crashed, but I think it would have been the former. Really, really good racing. And I think the first 3 races tonight, I think they were brilliant. But that last race was action-packed. But Redford, he wasn't 18 seconds clear. That's a bit misleading on the time tab, but he was still 13.5 seconds clear. I don't think we've ever seen such a big advantage in such a short race ever on Apex Racing TV. Crazy dominant for Redford. Of course, he will have his teammates back in the future weeks. I know Mato had education to get to tonight, but I'm sure him and the other top guys will be back challenging Will for the rest of the season. But that's now 6 wins out of 6 wins so far this season.
He is indeed. Will Redford, as we were saying, the winner of the A final. Molotova second. Schnabel, great recovery drive from him after I don't think he even qualified all the way back in the qualifying session. It was about 3 hours ago. Schnabel, great result to buy second, fourth. Kind of fast as well. Great recovery drive from him in 5th place. Philip Russell wins the AM race. He's in 6th place, and I have to say that Sarah Molotova does win the Pro-Am standings today. Pedro Suarez in 7th place with Hans Morgan Nielsen in 8th. Daniel Porter 9th with Juventus down in 10th place after that mega battle on the final lap. Andy Lee, what could have been for him? He's in 11th place, and he could have won. He was in the lead of the AM category at one point, but just was unlucky and got involved in incidents, so he finishes in 11th. Joseph Givens in 12th. Laszlo Burr 13th. Kamwali Charney as well had such great pace but couldn't convert it to any form of result. He's 14th. Jamie Tukey 15th. Michael Kaibosch in 16th place, and then we have Kevin Zemstra 17th. Johan Stolt in 18th place. Mark Charpentier is 19th with Dorian Arroyo in 20th place. Garrett Spence in 21st, and Jackie Wong, who unfortunately for him did not take the start, in 22nd. And wow, what an absolutely mega race we have had, Sam. I think you hit the nail on the head. The first 2 races, or 3 races even, were so good. They had such action, but it all sort of built up to this final race. And that's exactly what we like to see at the ARA Formula 4 Championship. And I think we might even have our race winner, Will Redford, standing by. And Sam, why don't you just have a little bit of a chat to our race winner?
Yes, I will do. Whose dad is not very happy on the YouTube stream, saying that your sponsors should get a refund because we didn't really see you tonight out on track because you just dominated. So thanks for making it a bit dull up there. That was one of the most dominant race meetings I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think I might need a weight penalty, to be honest. Obviously, I didn't have my teammates here today, so I think it was a little bit more dominant than what it should have been. I think if they were here, I would have been racing them. But it can't get much better than that. I think that's 6 out of 6 so far, and 2 out of 3 poles. So it's going pretty well.
We saw a lot of drivers have problems over the bus stop tonight, taking all the curb. I mean, you're sort of almost grazing the wall on the inside. How are you able to make it so consistent every single lap? I mean, are you safe going over the curb, or is there always the risk of you spinning?
I wouldn't say I'm particularly safe, but there's a very specific line you can take where if you get it right and it's about a car width, sorry, then you'll be fine. And you've got to hit that line every single time. If you go a little bit, so if you go over the curb directly, it flicks the rear of your car in the air and you spin round. If you go to the left of the curb, then it's slower. So you want to be to the right of the curb, right where the wall is. And the risk you run is hitting the wall on the right or hitting the bump on the left. but you know, it's the line you got to take to be quick, and once you're used to it, you can sort of hit it every time.
When you were out in the lead there, what could you do to keep your interest? I mean, what were you doing, you know, 10 minutes into the A final? I mean, just, you know, tree spotting or?
Honestly, I was just trying to like go as fast as I could. I was seeing how consistent I could get, and just if I could keep matching myself, and I ended up doing that. I think I got the fastest lap in both races. So yeah, there's not much to do when you're out in the front, but at the same time, when you're concentrating trying to go as quick as possible every single time, then you know it sort of keeps your mind occupied.
Well, you're absolutely brilliant tonight. Will, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, as always, shout out to you guys for doing a broadcast. Shout out to my dad for watching, and shout out to Delta Sport.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, and yeah, best of luck to make it 8 from 8 next week.
Thank you.
Will Redford there. Yeah, your race winner in the Heat 1 and the A final. Who do you want to have a chat with, Seb?
Have a little bit of a chat with Lennart Schnabel. See if we can get him in the commentary box. Welcome, Lennart. What an absolutely mega race from yourself after, you know, not qualifying, sort of building your way up through the grid to come across the line in 3rd place in the final. Must have been a really good feeling from the cockpit.
Yeah, it was really good. I had quite some pace after this disappointing qualifying. Found the way through up to P4 in the heat, starting from P7 in the final, and had an absolutely mega drive. And again, thank you very much to Tobias. It was quite a help. He let me by. So this 3rd place is dedicated to him. Maybe I wouldn't have achieved it if he didn't let me by. Yeah.
Oh, that's really sportsmanlike of you. I'd like to hear that. So what happened in qualifying then? Because we were sort of speculated from the commentary box that you just didn't want to qualify, or did you try and qualify and just not manage to get a lap together?
I tried really hard to qualify myself, but my only lap that I finished, I had in contact, 0x contact, so the lap was invalid, and yeah, in those other like 8 laps I crashed. Yeah, I don't know why, but it happened. Was a bit unlucky, but made the best out of it.
Well, you certainly did. I mean, you know, coming home with the podium in the final race is certainly, you know, quite astonishing and just shows your pace. So, you know, do you think that if you had managed to get a lap together in qualifying and start up the grid, you could have done better, or was sort of 3rd sort of your maximum that you were aiming for today, whatever?
I think with the pace of Will, maybe a 2nd place, but that's as far as it could go. So I'm really happy with the 3rd place.
Oh, I think you should be. Great driving from yourself. We always love watching you sort of slide through the field. You've got such a sort of a way of overtaking people. Always really exciting to watch from the commentary box. So we thank you for that. And before we let you go and celebrate your podium, is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to on the broadcast?
Yeah, shout out to you guys. Thank you for the broadcast. Shout out to my parents and to my team. Yeah, and that's about it.
Well, thank you very much, and yeah, congratulations on your podium, and we'll see you in a week's time for another round of the ARA Formula 4 Championship.
Yeah, see ya.
Sam, I think we've got time for a few more interviews. We've got 2 or 3 in the waiting room. Who do you fancy having a little bit of a chat to?
Well, there is only one man who I can have a chat with, because anyone who's regular to the F3 broadcast and now the F4 broadcast knows that we always go through this routine where I drag Philip up, and his mic never works. His mic never works. But
Oh, I can hear you.
we can test it. Philip, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. This might be the first time I've actually ever conversed after.
You know what? This is amazing.
It's absolutely amazing. First question, how's George?
He's absolutely fantastic. You know, top five every race this year. I've been giving him a few tips, obviously, but yeah, he's been taking all the tips he can from me, as you can imagine. But yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not sure how many races he's won in this championship, but I think it's a fair few less than yourself because it was a race win tonight, and in the end by quite a comfortable margin because I mean it was absolute chaos in the AMs, and yet you were just able to steer through it with seemingly no problems.
yeah, I don't know what happened. I mean, in the qualifying, I had a really poor qualifying. I just couldn't seem to get a lap together, and I kept getting understeer. And yeah, I was thinking, oh gosh, I've got a bad race on my hands here because I saw a few AMs in front of me. And then, yeah, the heat race just skimmed through, and obviously other people were like kind of having incidents. I think I finished P6, which is good, kind of straight into the feature. But yeah, the final, yeah, it was kind of again, the car felt better, the temperatures changed, but got through and obviously finished P6 overall, and obviously first in AMS, and that was my goal, keep out of trouble, and yeah, get a good result again.
Yeah, yeah, it was a terrific result. I mean, I think throughout these meetings, I mean, I think you've generally qualified like third or fourth out of the AMs, and yet you seem to always come out on top. I mean, are you already thinking about the championship? Because you've got quite a healthy advantage already, despite the fact that, you know, some of the other guys have been a match for you, at least seemingly on pace, but yet you've been able to come out on top. Oh dear, he's gone. He's gone. Where's he gone? Oh dear. Well, it was nice whilst it lasted because Philip never even his mic never works, but it seemingly is had a problem. I think that is pretty much all we have got time for, Seb. Yeah, what a fantastic meeting! What a crazy A final that was.
It certainly was. Kimbali Charney in the waiting room. We'll get to you one day. I'd love to hear from him, but we'll have to do that next week. As you rightly point out, Sam, we are out of time. Great racing from Watkins Glen here today. If you enjoyed this, we'll be back in 1 week's time at Interlagos. But if you're wanting a little bit more racing, coming up on Apex TV in about an hour or so, we've got the Formula 3.5s, and I'll be back in the commentary box this time with Tim Cox. And keep across all of our social media platforms and our YouTube channel to catch more racing and streams. But from myself, Sebastian Bosher-Williams, from Sam Fitzpatrick and Lewis Ward on production, thank you very much for tuning in for round 3 of the ARA Formula 4 Championship. And we will see you in 1 week's time as this championship moves to Brazil.